What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have liked and sub, and let's get into this. He's on the third episode, and actually, if you're just like this video just released, hey, I'm still probably on Open Bar, and we're doing super chats right now. But if not, and if you come here from Open Bar, hi. Hope it was a good experience. Obviously, you come here, so unless you came here to really hate on me, you came here to see what's what. So you might have heard me say some of this on the show, depending. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm probably going to address a lot of it. But let's see. Here is the third episode of The Acolyte.
Power of one.
Yes.
Power of two. The power of many.
I actively got a wasting disease when this went on. So if I sound a little under the weather, either on Open Bar or right now, it's because of this show.
Yes.
Episode 3 of The Acolyte was, without a doubt, one of the most devastatingly embarrassing spectacles I think I've ever witnessed on TV. 40 solid minutes of relentless, unadulterated, unapologetic, unaware cringe, distilled down to its purest and most toxic form. A show made by people who seem to despise not just Star Wars, but the very concept of filmmaking and storytelling in general.
Contempt for the audience, the storytelling, the material, the creator, all of it. Material. That is what this is. It's all contempt.
It's quite literally anti-entertainment made by anti-geniuses, and I do believe it may have broken what's left of the Star Wars fandom forever.
And this is why, by the way, I was like, let's not get upset at the first 2 episodes when all the fun has yet to start.
Anyway, there's an extra large bottle of toilet duck with my name on it, so let's get this over with as quickly as possible. The episode begins 16 years before the main events of the show, on the peaceful planet of whatever stupid name the writers concocted this time. And we get to see strong female character and strong female antagonist when they were still little kids. I know this because of the subtle visual cues, like them still having the exact same hairstyle they'll have 16 years later. Because as we all know, everyone chooses to stay exactly the same forever.
And May is an evil little bitch. She is. When creating these twins, they clearly messed up and they put all the light side in one of them and all the dark side in the other. That's May. That's not a new concept of having twins. That's been, the Immaculate Conception is the rip-off concept, but just having twins like that and both be force sensitive, obviously Luke and Leia. But then if you go back to the Old Republic, this has already been done with Arkin and Thexan in that storyline. And you can see, much like Echo, where they had her be a serial killer that killed animals when she was young, May immediately wants to go. Now, granted, Osha did it too. She was force stasising or like holding the whatever creature that was, just holding it there. May was like going to rip it apart, which I actually thought they were going to show. But yeah, so May is damaged goods from the beginning.
Anyway, strong female character and strong female antagonist live with their 2 mums in a coven of communist lesbian space witches.
By the way, that's not a joke. It's literally a commune of communist lesbian space witches
that have chosen to isolate themselves from the rest of the Republic because the galaxy doesn't tolerate women like them. Oh my...
Evil force bitches who use the dark side to create children and manipulate the surrounding populace.
Goodness, I wonder what that could possibly be a reference to.
Yeah.
The writing is so subtle on this show, you see, I just can't make out what they're driving at. Also, this is just a crazy thought on my part, but if you really want to remain hidden from the rest of the galaxy, maybe don't build your communist lesbian space witch community in a gigantic fortress on top of a mountain that's so big it can probably get seen from space.
Are you dumb or something?
Anyway, this is where the show tries its hand at character development, and I use that word about as loosely as I'd use the term fine dining to describe a pot noodle. The 2 strong female twins are due to go through a big ceremony to turn them into full-on witches because they were created without a father using the power of the Force.
The thread. So fucking stupid too.
Sorry, the thread.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we'll get into that soon enough. believe that. But strong female character dreams of leaving the communist lesbian space witches behind and seeing what else is out there in the galaxy. Strong female antagonist, on the other hand, wants to stay right here and refuses to let her twin leave because she's a psychotic lunatic.
Yeah, she's a possessive, psychotic little. This is a lesbian coded relation. I know they're supposed to be sisters, but even Leslie, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, has talked about how she thought that Frozen, which this is based on, Frozen meets Kill Bill, was lesbian coded, and that the true love between the sisters was actually about true love between lesbians. What? She obviously clearly read some weird shit into it.
I wonder if...
But that's why this one acts like the toxic one in the relationship. She just wants her own life. She doesn't want to be in their little sick little commune, and May wants her to violently, if not willingly.
This is going to have repercussions later. So it's time for us to meet their mums. Strong female character number 4 and strong female character number 5, each of whom have slightly different perspectives on how to raise their strong female twins. Strong female character number 5 believes in discipline, caution, and suspicion of outsiders.
So that's Coral, and she acts like their father, even if she clearly has another role. I'm calling it right now. That's Smilo Rin. That is the dark side, and yeah, that is Smilo Rin. That's the Sith. That's the Master.
While strong female character number 4 is more indulgent and free-thinking, and apparently she gets the last word on how they're raised because she created them with the power of the thread.
I carried them.
So she's the mother, even though she acts like the father.
I created them.
She is their mother, even though she's technically their father by creating them. And this whole dynamic is literally a woman saying that I carried them, the children, and a man doing, yeah, but I put semen in you. I created them. Wow. Staggeringly tone deaf.
Liar, liar, your pants on fire.
Now, you might have thought that Anakin was the only example of immaculate conception in Star Wars, but you'd be wrong, you bigot, because it turns out that not one, but 2 strong female characters got there like 100 years earlier. Why do I get Timeless Children and Star Trek Discovery vibes from all of this?
I mean, Chris Gore straight up said this was going to be the Timeless Children.
Also, we might as well get this thread bullshit out of the way.
Before he gives his explanation, nothing she said invalidated anything that anyone had ever said about the Force. The only difference is she called it a thread instead of the Force.
So, like, you know how the Force has been one of the defining elements of Star Wars for almost 50 years, referenced in every single movie, game, and TV show ever made? Well, it turns out we were all wrong, because according to the lesbian communist space witches, the real nature of it is a thread that binds all living things together.
The Force binds all living things together. It's the same fucking name for different thing. This has always been in canon. Basically, there's a bunch of backwater planets with a bunch of dummies that have Force powers, but they don't know about the Force because they've never heard of Jedi or Sith or the larger galaxy. So they fucking call it magic or Slurpo or whatever magical name it is, but it's just the Force. And they developed their own idea. This is what the Night Sisters were. They just came to more prominence and the larger galaxy knew about them. But there's plenty of planets with Force witches, even if they don't know about the Force, and they call it the thread.
It's not a power that can be controlled or used as a weapon like those mean, stinky Jedi do. Also, it's funny because literally seconds later, strong female character number 4 actually does use the thread as a weapon.
Now, everything she said was some pseudo early, like, dark side Sith separatist shit of like, oh, it's not about, there's no light side, dark side, it's just how you use it. And guess what? They all end up fucking falling to the dark side.
How embarrassing.
And the more I think about that, the more it seems like a perfect metaphor for people just like this, claiming one thing and then doing the exact opposite without ever acknowledging their own hypocrisy. Jesus, imagine still being a Star Wars fan at this point and having to reconcile all these conflicting bullshit ideas in your heads.
Well, I'll definitely be asking, because look, I'm a Star Wars fan, and when I say Star Wars, I mean everything before Disney. Everything after, I very clearly and have no problem, the more they ruin it, calling it Disney Star Wars. But how anyone is trying to spin this as good, and I mean, Star Wars theory looked destroyed. I don't even think he's going to be able to spin any of this in a positive light.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, it's time for one of the most cringe-inducing scenes in all of Star Wars, and that's really saying something at this point.
Power of 1.
Yeah.
Power of 2.
It's really bad.
Power of many.
When I saw this, I actually had to pause the playback, walk away, and really just let it sink in.
I watched it like 3 or 4 times because I was like, this is where we are. This rampancy. This is what we asked for. This is what Gary from Nerd Ruts, what we asked for. They kept ruining it. We kept trying to stop it. The whole Treon thing happened. Disney got their board of investors. Nelson Peltz sold all his stocks. Said, that's it, I'm done. Everyone said, that's it, I'm done. And we all just, fine, let's ruin it now. Let's just go into overdrive mode. And we got lesbian commune of space witches that gave Immaculate Conception. So rampancy well on its way.
This is a thing that actually got made. Real functioning adults wrote, performed, edited, and scored this. And at no point in the process did anyone raise their hands and say, I think this might be a bad idea, guys. This is exactly what happens when you take
Might have gotten carried away with a few parts there.
people who consider this to be thought-provoking art and put them in charge of a $200 million Star Wars show. Truly, George Lucas must be so proud of what they've accomplished with his baby. Anyway, luckily for us, the ceremony gets interrupted when the mean, stinky Jedi show up to kidnap the strong female twins because they think they could be powerful in the Force or something. You know, it's funny how there seems to be this real concerted effort by Disney to paint the Jedi in the worst possible light. So
Child stealers and groomers, even though there's never been a law that they can actually take it. It's all voluntary. Yeah.
so that they
Plenty of other cultures use the Force that the Jedi are aware of.
can be replaced with something more modern. Anyway, strong female character number 5 doesn't appreciate this much and uses the thread as a weapon, even though it totally isn't a weapon according to them, to threaten token white guy with annihilation.
And yeah, that's a dark side power. Debatably, maybe, but probably yes. And that right there would have been a green light for all the Jedi to ignite their sabers and take them down. Yes, they are in fact using the dark side of the Force. This is no different than tasing. If you had a little dispute and someone just tased them. Yeah.
Because really, who else out of this extremely diverse group of Jedi could she possibly choose as her victim? Anyway, eventually strong female Jedi is able to calm things down, and Squid Guy tries to win strong female character over to his side by handing her a lightsaber to play with.
Boom. And right there, she should have pushed the button and just his head would have...
Are you dumb or something?
Are you out of your fucking mind? She's a small child, and this is one of the deadliest weapons in the galaxy. Is this really how you want to attract someone to your cause? Like, what if she accidentally ignites it and cuts her own head off? Fucking mission failed right there, you dick. Anyway, so the Jedi's plan is to test the strong female twins to see if they've got Force potential, so the communist lesbian space witches hatch the genius plan for them to intentionally fail the test so they'll be left alone.
Yes, yes.
Wow, 4-dimensional quantum mega chess going on there, ladies. Well done. Unfortunately, it all goes wrong when strong female character gets found out in a matter of seconds and decides to just pass the test anyway.
Osha wants to go. May doesn't. Obviously, she wants to stay. And yeah, obligatory. Why they used Amanda Stenberg to play the same role and then hire 2 completely different child actresses, I don't know.
Anyway, so strong female antagonist does the smart thing and locks her in her room and then sets her journal on fire in the middle of a stone hallway in a fortress that's made predominantly of stone. I mention the fact that it's made of stone so often because the fire quickly spreads and then engulfs the entire fortress, because apparently in this universe stone is more combustible than a 1990s shell suit. Oh yeah, and the communist lesbian space witches all die from boredom or...
So I know people were saying like smoke inhalation, blah, blah, blah. At best interpretation, May it was more of a gas lamp and it spread to some of the soft circuitry and all the other shit, that whatever. And because they kept showing the power plant where the whole soul saving OSHA happens, an explosion happened and the blast or whatever is what knocked them all. But I think the truth you're going to see is that Master Nandara had the Jedi sabotage their power plant, which exploded at the same time as May starting a fire. And I don't know. We'll see.
Or something. Then strong female antagonist falls into a pit and strong female character gets rescued by Squid Game guy who agrees to take her to Coruscant and train her as a Jedi. But wouldn't you know it?
And he was far too emotional during this. Empathy is one thing, but he was a weeping tit, basically. Like, bro, there was no emotion. There is peace.
Strong female antagonist actually survived and begins her revenge trip. Wow, who could have predicted that when we totally know that she's alive 16 years later? You know, reviewing this episode episode is kind of an exercise in futility at this point, because really, what is the point anymore in complaining about nonsensical and contradictory writing, the horrendous cinematography, the wooden acting, and the terrible dialogue? Those things are all par for the course in The Acolyte.
Yeah.
You almost expect it now. The bigger problem now is that it's honestly difficult to feel much of anything for The Acolyte or
Apathy is death. Kreia tried to teach us that. Leslie Headland wants to ruin her character too, and that's to the public too.
Star Wars in general, because I think this show is proof, if you ever needed it, that this is just how things are going to be now. Star Wars isn't going to be saved by anyone.
No.
It's not going to go back to the way it was, and it's not going to improve in any meaningful way because there's no one left with the will or the talent to do it. The Acolyte represents their ultimate vision for this franchise. It's the perfect distillation of everything Disney and the so-called creatives at Lucasfilm want to inject into George Lucas's vision, and they're not going to stop. Kathleen Kennedy recently bemoaned all the criticism that she and women like Leslie Headland have taken for their creative decisions because the predominantly male fan base just can't seem to recognize their genius. Well, congratulations, Kathy, because that seems to be a problem that you've gradually solved with every new show and movie that you've produced. If there's no fans left at all, then there's no toxic male fans left either. Genius.
And I hope you do. This is it. Star Wars is before Disney bought it. So that is preserved in time. The 6 movies, the original Gindi Clone Wars, the micro series now they call them. That's all in the past. That's all good. This Disney Star Wars, no, it's done. It's done, and all we are is bearing witness to it.
So in that respect, at least, I guess you've kind of won by default. Congratulations. Star Wars is all yours now. And this here is your prize, an empire of dust. A franchise in ruins. And really, I hope it was all worth it. I hope it was worth the billions of dollars you've blown on failed projects over the years. I hope it was worth provoking the contempt and finally the apathy of millions of Star Wars fans that have just chosen to walk away. I hope it was worth it to have a legacy of absolute failure. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Oh, you heard it, and that go away now. Yeah. And now extrapolate. By the way, this is the 3rd episode. It's the 3rd episode. The 4th one is where pronouns come, and then the real rubs are coming. So because God knows what the revelations will be towards the end. Anyway, let me know what you think of this. Are you going to keep watching? You going to keep watching the car crash, or are you done? This was it. You've said your goodbyes. Apathy has set in, and that's it. You're done. I don't know. I will watch until the very end. I will bear witness. I will bear witness, much like the preacher at the end of Kingdom Come in DC with the specter coming and leading him to show how it all goes. This is where we are. Anyway, let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you came from open bar. Either way, should have liked, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're gonna do that, thank you. And
Well, bye.